Duckey, Bren Esports. I'm the current MLBB head coach. If there's a word, I would say it's humbling, really. Ang dami kong natutunan na bago for myself, and I think the entire team actually learned a lot of new things this season. RSG, definitely, and I think they would become the champions. They would come out as champions this season because they're playing on a different level, really. Amongst all the teams in the MPL, they're playing on a totally different level. Okay. Well, Team A is a mix of characters, so typically they're just, they're more outspoken than the other team, so they have fun the most, I would say, because they're not really that static when it comes to game ideas. They're very vocal. They share ideas, mid-game, after the game, before the game. So yeah. Whereas Team B is more of like a closed oyster. So medyo they have their own thing going on individually. So it's kind of hard to open them up, but from time to time, kasi nandun naman kasi si Boards, which is an experienced veteran. So it was like a passion project for him. So eventually we opened them up, and then I think they're finding their shape. Okay. So when I was off season ng season 8, it was a very hard process actually when I realized that scouting is a very hard thing. Because when I came to Bren Esports, the team was already built. The M2 roster, the M2 winning roster was already built. I didn't really, scout them. It was just plug and play. Parang sinabi lang sa akin na, "Oy, Duckey, coach ka dito. Ito yung team." Okay. So when season 9 came, during the season 8 off season, ang hirap pala mag-scout. So I didn't realize na it's actually a science. Mahirap talaga siya. Lalo na with the lack of analytic sheet. Football, basketball, we don't really have that thing because Punto doesn't really provide that stuff. You have to do it on your own. So I've forgotten that part. So I skipped that part totally. Eyeball na lang. So I was watching, tournaments, amateur tournaments, and I was hearing, voices telling me these players are the must-watch. So I looked at, the SV Empire boys, and luckily the entire roster is actually with us right now. Two of which is in Team B, Pandora and Storm, and then the 3 others is with Sunspark. And then, I was actually trying to get, or hoping to get, the entire Archangel roster. Unfortunately, it wasn't going to be a fit because I have different ideas. Because I thought Few and Flap were still at their peak, and Flap has a higher cap pa rin kasi he's still a kid. So, and he's performing. He's very passionate about the game. So I thought of keeping him. When it came down to the offers, how I approach the players, they lang naman because it was their dream. It wasn't really that hard. It was their dream to play in the MPL. So I said, dali, parang gusto mo maglaro MPL, come on over and bring your teammates. Ang una kong kinausap dyan si Mark. I thought Mark was a prodigy. He was a really young kid. He's 15 years old. And sobrang galing talaga niya when I was watching him play in the amateur tournaments. And then I said, sama mo si Joy Boy, sama mo si Saksha. Saksha pa actually, he didn't really want to come over because he thought Carl was going to be staying. So sabi niya, Ayoko coach kasi baka hindi naman ako makalaro dyan. So, that was a good indication actually that he really wanted to play. So, yeah, that's how it went. I was lucky enough to have my rookies to be, easy to work with. They're really passionate about the game. All they think about is the game day in, day out. So it was easy. It wasn't really that difficult. Probably the hard part of coaching these rookies, my rookies, was their mindset. I couldn't really get through them, in terms of like how they can manage their jitters, yung kaba and stuff. Yeah, it was pretty late night when I discovered what was wrong and how to correct it. So, unfortunately, we didn't make it, but we've learned a lot of things, and I hope the next season would be better for us. Well, I have the rookies. It's a mix of characters, like I said. So, they have different ambitions. They have different thoughts how to approach the game. So I think that's the biggest factor or the biggest thing that changed really. Game 1, akala ko amin na yun, but the comeback game. They just didn't know how to execute yung siege properly. They didn't plan it out. And kasi may talaga siya may timer talaga yung draft na yun. So highly scalable yung heroes ng Omega. So we knew na kapag lumabot ng after 18-minute mark, we will lose. On the third Lord push, yung tower siege, hindi nila na-execute ng tama. It could have been yun na yung death push eh. Unfortunately, hindi nila na-execute ng tama, hindi pumasok sa session ng maaga, inintay pa nila yung creeps, yung minion wave, sorry. And then, yun. It was heartbreaking nung natalo kami nung game 1 kasi we knew na pag natalo kami that game, there are no more chances. So, yeah. Could have been ours kasi if nanalo kami ng first game, then we won second game, then we won TNC 2-0. We could have been in the playoffs. Yeah, it was too late na nung na-realize ko what was the problem. It was, it's just isang bagay lang siya. They weren't really comfortable, with everything, how they play in the stage. So they weren't really comfortable, with the technicalities that we were applying because Pao is a very technical guy. Don't get me wrong, Pao is a very good coach. But at the end of the day, when during siguro week 4, I wasn't really watching their screams na. I was back to my drawing board and I was trying to discover or trying to learn what is going wrong with these boys. And then I realized na they weren't really comfortable with the draft, with their play style because we were enforcing it rather than letting them be. So I said in week 5, you know what? Balik tayo sa fundamentals. Let's just, use our instincts, every step of the way. From the draft, I let them draft. Oh, no kidding. Sila talaga yung nagda-draft. But we were just there to guide them. Like, baka kasi may mga questionable picks silang gawin and stuff like that. And, we have to discuss the winning conditions. We have to discuss what would be the plays like. What would be the mid-game, the late game, the early game would be like. So those stuff. So I think it just boils down to one thing, comfort. And, that's one of the biggest realizations I've had for this 2 teams that I have right now for this season. And I think we'll make do for, the next one. Yeah, number 1 is comfort. It's just that really. Wala nang iba. I couldn't say for sure. But looking at, how they played the second half of the season, I would say we have like a 60% chance of going to the grand finals and taking it home. I would say lahat sila. They stepped up. They stepped out to play. They were really passionate about whenever they lose, they they just, they just break down. But the day after, it's like a complete reset for them again. Then, train hard, like played at their best. It's really fun to watch them in scrimmages. Because, it's like they're not a new team. So parang sobrang tagal nila together. So, yeah, I think it's a good thing. Don't always look into like the, what complicates the game. Some of the biggest factors that affects players or teams is definitely outside the game. You can go without watching them play and realize that there's still something wrong that's going on. So I think, moving forward, I'd give it a 50-50 balance, 50% balance. It's to like the technicalities of the game, the intricacies of it, as well as, what happens outside the game. Probably the proudest moment is that they never really gave up. They showed that, they can still win despite how many, 6 losses, straight. That's really heartbreaking kasi if you're a player and you're, down like 5 series, baka ayaw mo na maglaro the next series. So, but they didn't. Again, like I was telling before, the only people that matters are the ones who shows up. I'd still go with like, I didn't go outside of like my thinking box and realize na hindi pala yung intricacies ng game yung problema nila. It was far more fundamental than that. And first, of course, is let them take a break, probably a couple of weeks, then come back, and then hopefully we can participate in amateur tournaments or like underground tournaments. Build the experience. Build the team further up rather, and ano ba? And then probably restructure a bit. Kuya Ronel.
Uy! Kasama
Oh, sabi mo sa Bren.
Sa Bren
Sabi mo kay sa Bren. Kasi magpapatulong akong magdala ng mga gamit ko dun sa dorm. Kuya Ronel,
Hindi, sa amin.
Wala. Wala naman. I make sure that, my thoughts are heard. But kay Kuya Ronel, tulungan mo ako maglipat ng gamit ko. Sorry, I'm really just fond of the guy. He's a really great guy. I don't think it's right to like address the bastards because it doesn't really make sense. They don't really add to anything. But to the fans, I really apologize for like we've been in a slump for a very long time. I posted this on my page. I know you guys are really disappointed with our performance, and I hope we can make it up to you in the coming seasons. It's not always rainbows, butterflies coming out our asses, but there will be days na it's not going to be for you. So probably this is one of those days for us, and I hope we can make a comeback. Actually, we will make a comeback. Probably next season or the next. It doesn't matter. As long as we try our best. That's what matters to us. Yes, I'm satisfied.